Have you noticed that all these banks that we use nowadays, you actually hear news of a bank being hacked? Yes or no? Now, the reason is not perfect. The reason is that most of those banks, they did what we call threat modeling. Threat modeling simply means the process whereby the cybersecurity experts or the cloud engineers or the cloud security engineers try to predict or forecast the kind of attack that can happen. And during that process, they will now actually implement the defense system, a rigid defense system that will actually block such attack from happening. So what they do is that they will do what we call threat modeling. So each of those cloud security engineer or cyber security engineer will do threat modeling on their own. Then they will now do what we call peer review. Peer review simply means that all different kind of senior cybersecurity engineer, cloud security engineer, they will come together in one section. Then they will start reading each of those threat modeling to see whether it actually meets the demand of the organization or the banking system. So that is why you actually need this topic I'm about to talk about. Now, this topic is on OSI model, but we are now going to use stride threat modeling to threat model each layer. And this is actually how banking system and some big and robust applications were built. Because in the process of their building, the cloud or the cybersecurity engineer, they are threat modeling it, they are predicting the kind of attack and defense that can actually happen. So that as they are building, they are implementing security. That is why you hardly hear that maybe a bank got hacked or so. It's very, very rare, most especially bank. It's very, very rare for you to hear that, okay, a bank has been hacked or so. So it is in those days that you usually hear those things, right? Okay, so now let's go to the game. Now, you see, when we say strike is just like a prediction of threats, you understand, using the standard protocol. So we are not going to use the strike threat modeling to actually forecast the kind of attack and the kind of defense that we can implement in each layer of the OSI model. So let's go. Now, the S in strike stand for spoofing. And spoofing simply means when somebody try to fix something, you understand? Somebody hackers try to fix something. You understand? They try to fix maybe a login page or anything. So that is spoofing. The second one is the T that is there, which is what? Which is tampering. Tampering is when hackers try to change something, whether the thing is moving or the thing is at rest. That's number two. Number three is repudiation. This is a process whereby hackers try to deny a particular action. Maybe hackers try to change, maybe they change the password or they change the particular credentials. So the process whereby they try to clear their track. You understand? They deny what they have done. So that is the which is repudiation. Then we have the I. The I in strike simply stands for information disclosure. Now, this is a process whereby hackers disclose or reveal sensitive data of a particular complaint or a particular system to the internet. Or something that the company actually put in private, they expose it to public. Now, the D stands for denial of service. Denial of service is a process whereby hackers try to load malicious packet into a particular app or into a particular system so that people will not be able to access it. So in this thing, their own aim is just to make sure that that particular system or that particular app is not accessible again. Then the E is escalation or elevation of privilege. This is the process whereby hackers hack one particular part of the system, then they now move laterally to other parts and hack the whole system or the whole organization. So that's what strike simply means. Now, strike tell us the threats. Why OSI model tell us where those threats can actually happen. So now let's go to the number one. Number one is layer 7. Layer 7 is what we call the application layer. Now, what are the kind of threats that can happen? So for us to model this layer now, we know that it's the application layer that we actually interact with. So what are the kind of things we have to think like an hacker? Okay, what are the things that hacker can do to an application layer? Okay, what are the things that hacker can do if they are trying to access a particular website or a particular app? What are the things? Number one is spoofing. Hackers can try to mimic or to create a fake login page of that particular website so that they can collect people credentials. You understand? So let's use ABC Bank as an example. So ABC Bank now, they have their own website and they have their own login page where their user is to log in. So they can actually mimic or create that particular login page so that they will send that phishing link to all the users of ABC Bank. I think I did this practical. You can watch it in my blog where I did them, where I think where it's simulation attack or something like that. So you can watch that. Another attack that can happen here is tampering. It means that if hackers knows that maybe one part of the application communicates with another part of the application using API, they can abuse that API. You understand? They can abuse it. They can actually divert the API to go to another place. Or they can forge their own API, you understand, and make a particular request to that banking system or to that application. Another attack here is repudiation. Hackers can actually deny whatever action that they perform. Maybe when they gain access to a particular system, they will deny whatever action. Maybe they change admin password, or they can deny. Another thing there is that they can also do what we call information disclosure. They can review sensitive data of that particular system, or that particular website. Let's say, for example, they were able to hack into ABC Bank website. So the moment they get into ABC Bank website, they now see maybe username and password in plain text. They can expose it and sell it in the dark web. Another attack they can do is DOS. So DOS simply means that they can actually flood that particular website or that particular app with a lot of malicious packet, so that the server of that website or the app will crash totally and people will not be able to access it for some time. I also did video on this. You can watch it in my power. Then the last kind of attack that can also happen here is privilege escalation. Hackers can actually hack into one part of the system and escalate. Maybe they were able to hack one particular staff in that ABC Bank website. Now, what they will do is that they will try to escalate and see if they can become admin so that they can control the whole organization. What are the defense that you must put in this kind of threats? You know, this is a threat now. So in this threat now, this is the application layer. This is the user. So the user is trying to access this application. And we have seen different kind of attack that can happen. So what are the defense that you are going to apply? Number one defense that you need to apply is MFA, multi-factor authentication. You understand? You need to apply that one, because even if hackers have access to enforce the password, they will still need another layer of security. That's number one. Number two is you need to put what we call WAF. So you put WAF, that is web application firewall, so that it will filter any kind of malicious traffic. Maybe DDoS attack or any kind, it will filter them and it will not allow them to get into that particular app or system. Another thing you need to put there to prevent attack in this layer is to make sure that you do input validation or input sanitization. Sometimes attacker can decide to inject maybe SQL injection or XSL injection or command injection, any kind of injection that they want to do. So you need to have sanitized that open port, that open space in that particular app, so that they will not be able to inject and fetch something from the database of that particular system. The other thing you need to implement is role-based access control. That's RIBA. Now, RIBA simply means that you are trying to control the kind of thing that each user of the application can have access to. So you are preventing normal user to escalate to be staff. You are also preventing normal staff to escalate to be an admin. So those are the prevention that you as a cybersecurity expert, you are going to put in that kind of layer. So that right now, we have actually threat modeled the application layer. So this is how the application layer is actually threat modeled to prevent different kind of attack. So you just need to think, okay, what can happen? What can go on? What can they do? Can I do this? Can I do that? So that is what you just need in this layer. Now, let's go to layer 6. What are the attacks that can happen in layer 6? Don't forget layer 6. This is the layer that we call presentation layer. You know, in presentation layer, this is where the data that you are trying to send is what is being encrypted and is being formatted. So what are the kind of attack that can happen here in this layer 7? Number one is spoofing. So spoofing simply means that attacker can fake certificates. You understand? Or they can fake the credentials so that they can have access to it. That's number. Another thing is tampering. So attacker can actually tamper or change anything, any text or any details that is being sent from one part to another within this layer. So they can alter it, they can change it before it even gets to the source. The another one, which is number 3, is information disclosure. Now, if the encryption is weak, such that attackers can see plain text, you understand? They can actually steal sensitive data and publish it to the public. And this is what we call man-in-the-middle attack. Now, what are the defense that you are going to implement in this layer? What are the defense? What are your defense? Number one is that as the data is moving, you have to put what we call TLS. You have to put strong TLS. That is transport layer secure. So transport layer secure, make sure it is either 1.2 or 1.3. That's the latest. So you put it so that you encrypt whatever data that is being sent. That's you can get certificate pinning. You are going to pin the certificate of whatever request you are trying to send. So you are going to pin it so that they will not be able to alter it or they will not be able to forge it. And the last thing you are going to do is to disable weak cipher. So you have to disable any weak encryption. Disable it. Make sure you use a very strong encryption so that it will not reveal the plain text. Another thing you can do is you can use MTLS. You understand? So MTLS and TLS can actually work together. So MTLS is simply mutual transport layer secure, meaning that both parties we have to verify each other before they can communicate. So that's layer 6. Now let's go to layer 5. Now the layer 5 is what we call the section layer. Now in this layer, both parties they are connected to one another. Now, what are the things that can happen? What are the kind of attack that can happen? So these are we are going to get modeling. Number one kind of attack that can happen is section hijacking. So attacker can try to hijack the section. Maybe you notice that these two parties they are communicating. They can try to hijack the section of this person. So that it will be like this and be communicating with this person. And this person will not know that this person's section has been hijacked. So that is number one. Number 2 is token manipulation. You know, anytime somebody signs into a particular website, automatically token is being generated. If that token is weak, Attacker can forge their own token and they will keep using it to log in into that system. You understand? So that is token manipulation. They can just change one thing or one or two things in that token and they will manipulate it. So session hijacking is spoofing, while token manipulation is what is tampering in strike. Then we have repudiation. Repudiation occur when attacker try to misuse the section. You understand? They try to misuse that section. They use that section to their own advantage. They gain that section and they misuse it. They use it anyhow. So those are the kind of attack that can happen based on Based on strike. Now, what are the kind of defense that can actually happen in this layer? What are the kind of defense you are going to implement? Number one, make sure you enforce strong token validation. Make sure you enforce strong token validation. Make sure that the token that is being generated for every user or every person that want to access that website is actually valid and strong enough. That's number one. Number two is put a secure cookie. Make sure that the cookie that you set for the application is actually secure. Number three is set timeout. Set timeout. Understand? Meaning that if a particular user logging into the application, there should be a time whereby if at all the user is not using the application, automatically to log out. Then another thing you can do here is to set rotation of keys or rotation of credentials. You understand? So that even if at all they are able to steal that credentials, they won't be able to use it for a long period of time. So that is layer 5. Now, layer 4. This is what we call the transport layer. So it is a layer whereby the message you are trying to send, whatever message that party A is trying to send, is being transported, you understand? Mark with the IP address of the source, IP address of the destination, and move to where it is actually going to. So what are the kind of things that can happen here? What are the kind of attack that can happen based on the strike? Number one is spoofing. In this case, hackers can actually spoof the TCP. You understand? They can spoof it. They can mimic that particular TCP, that particular application can accept. They can mimic it and use it to flood the system. That's number one. Number two is tampering. So they can do what we call packet manipulation. So they can manipulate the packet message that is a packet. They can manipulate. They can change it. They can. So number three is DOS. They can perform DOS attack here. Here they are going to do SYN flood. They can flood the particular TCP. They can flood the particular application with SYN flood. Now, what are the kind of defense that you need to put in place in this layer? You need to put firewall. Put firewall to filter malicious traffic. Put intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system, then put rate limiting. So those are the things that you're going to put to protect this layer. So that's layer 4. Now layer 3. In this layer 3, this is where there will be networking between the two devices. So in this layer, what are the kind of attack that can happen? Number one is spoofing. Spoofing means that somebody can claim the IP of this person and use it to bypass the authentication system or whatever it is that is placed. You understand? So somebody can actually spoof this person IP address and use it to communicate with this person. So that's IP spoofing, which is what spoofing. The second thing they can do is information disclosure. They can actually sniff the packets that is being sent from one party to the other. They can sniff it. They can hijack some of them and steal it and expose it to the public. Another thing they can perform here is they can perform DOS attack. Here they are going to use ICMP flood. They are going to flood the particular system. Now, what are the defense systems that you need to put in place for this not to happen? Number one, use anti-spoofing. So make sure you enforce anti-spoofing. That's number two is use IPsec, that's IP security, so that nobody can actually mimic another person IP to communicate in that system. Number three is set access control list for their networking. Make sure that the networking have a control list method. So that's layer 2, data link layer. Now, data link layer, what are the kind of attack that can happen in this layer? Now, in data link layer, these are the attack that can happen in this layer. Number one is spoofing, because this layer involves MAC address and ARP. So hackers can actually try to spoof MAC address of another device. You understand? And they will be able to use it to communicate. So that's MAC spoofing. Number two is tampering, and this is done by doing ARP poison. Number three is information disclosure. So this is a process whereby hackers sniff the information, they cache the information, and they expose it to the public. Now, what are the kind of defense that you are going to put in place as a cybersecurity expert? Number one is ARP inspection. But make sure that there is ARP inspection and ARP validation. That's number one. Number two is to use PAPA3, which is the strong defense system for data link layer security. Then number three is to use filtering method. So filter different malicious traffic and make sure only the real traffic are able to pass. Now, the physical layer, this is the layer that involves the wire, the connection, and all those things. So, like fiber optics and all that. Now, what are the kind of attack that can happen in this physical layer? Number one is tampering. So, somebody can tamper the cables or kick or cut the cables that connect different devices together in the organization. So, that's number one. Number two is information disclosure. Attacker can decide to walk into the organization and just have access to their computer system and do one or two things, or put USB in their system so that they can install malware or any kind of thing. Number three is DOS attack. Yeah, attacker can do physical damage, maybe by breaking different kind of things that the organization have or any kind of thing in the organization. What are the defense you need to do? Number one is access control. Number two, lock every part of the system and make sure you encrypt, you do full disk encryption on all the organization system. Make sure you install CCTV camera to protect the whole organization. So that is that about the Stripe modeling and OSI model. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, follow, and share.